Bicycle sticks race down the curb into the sewer. The next to
Welcome back to the Marathon Mortgage Happy Hour. I'm Mike Witzak.
I am Rory Farrell.
And who's the special guest in the middle today?
I am Amy Zhunio.
Well, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. You were prompt. You were on time. You gave me an update. You're like, hey, I'm 5 minutes out. We love that.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hated it because I was like, I was like banking on you being late, like most of the people, and I'm like, oh, I'll go get Chipotle. I show up, I'm at Chipotle, and you pulled in. I'm like, fuck. And I just like,
I'm so sorry.
no.
I told him, I go, dude, she's going to be here in like a half hour. And he's like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm like,
But I was always taught if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late.
No,
If
you
you're
were
late,
perfect.
you're
You were a couple minutes early though. I love that. Like we just kind of boom, you were on time. We'll get through this. We'll have fun, and he'll still be hungry.
yeah, it works out. We're good. We're good.
Wait, before we get into that,
go ahead.
say your name one more time, where you're, like, what team you're on, and just kind of give us a little.
Yeah, my
intro.
name is Amy Zhunio. I'm with Kind Real Estate at Real Brokerage. I actually joined a couple months ago, so kind of still the new girl.
All right, cool.
Cool.
Well, we've had a lot of your team on. We're just kind of like ticking through. I love working with your team. You guys, great communicators, hustlers, and we're excited to get to know you a little bit.
I appreciate it.
Let's get to know Two Robbers.
Okay,
You
cool.
have had.
I know Two Robbers.
I have
Two Robbers is from Philadelphia. Used to be a seltzer company. They kind of pivoted, and now they're doing like canned cocktails. I heard you were a lemon drop girl.
I am.
That's what I heard. So we went with lemon lime. That's the closest thing to a lemon drop. So 90 calories. Let's see what else. 4.5% ABV. So let's see.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Pass that down to Michael. My wife loves these. I've only had a couple flavors. I don't know if I have the lemon lime, but let's see. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you
Smells
for
good.
having me.
Yeah. First thoughts.
I like it.
You can do it.
Yeah, I think it's dangerous. How much percentage?
4.5. It's
Okay,
basically
okay.
like what a Bud Light would be.
9%. Yeah, it's like we're just getting smashed.
We'll call you an Uber.
Yeah.
Crawling out of here.
All right, cool. So let's get into you. Where are you from? Where you started? How you started? I know a little bit about you just based on your Instagram.
Yeah.
So just kind of get into it.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived in Philly my whole life. I actually came to the States when I was 3. But in terms of real estate, I didn't get my license until I was 21.
I love how you say that. Like it's
Until-
like you're a late bloomer.
Yeah.
I didn't get it until I was 21.
Like sometimes social media makes you seem like you're late in the game, and like I see people getting their license at 18. I'm like, shit, like I should have.
Yeah, no.
I don't think that's most people.
No, not at all.
No, we've had one person on who I think is younger than you, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe one.
Joe.
Yeah, that's it though. I mean,
That's
you're
the only person I could think of.
Quick question: am I allowed to curse? I said shit. I didn't know. that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I said
fucking the first
I
one.
said fuck in the first like
90
20
seconds
Yeah.
in it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. But yeah, so like I think the only other person I know that got their license at 18 was my buddy Mike.
Your buddy Mike, yeah.
That's it. So like you're one of 3 people, or like you got yours at 21, you said?
Yeah.
I know 2 people, and I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now, so.
Okay.
Yeah, you're early. Did you know like kind of early on that you wanted to
Well,
be in real estate, or how did that happen at such a young age?
so I went. Honestly, it's all thanks to my dad. He pulled me out of school. I was a junior in high school, and there was like this Robert Kiyosaki seminar,
Oh.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
So we went and
Okay.
I just loved hearing their stories, how like real estate changed their life, investing in, and not just being a real estate agent. And then when it was time for me to apply for college, I was looking at, like, I didn't know what to do because I knew I wanted to do real estate, and Drexel actually happened to be one of the few schools that had real estate management.
Oh, I didn't know that.
development.
Did you know that?
I don't know.
Oh, very
Yeah,
cool.
so I actually got my license through one of the co-ops there, and yeah,
That's so it's like literally from high school. You're like, this is what I'm gonna do.
yeah.
That's
But
wild.
my dad had a big impact. If he didn't take me to that seminar, I probably would have like.
And what made him do that? Was he like interested in real estate, or had
Yeah.
he just read some of those books? And
Yeah, so he's actually really big in like there's the Rich Dad Poor Dad in Latin America. So he's one of like the leaders that play cash flow, and he does a lot of that. So he started off
like he plays the game and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
and he leads it. So like he helps people like understand the game and just kind of teaches them how to play.
so you didn't have a chance to do it anything else. You were like, it was in your
No,
blood.
I mean, kind of like he did have an influence, but I don't really like playing the game because it can take hours. But it's really interesting. Like I just love seeing him
Yeah.
like in his element. So he definitely had an impact, but just he does investing himself.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, if there's any other way to start, I guess that's a really good way to start it.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. So he must be proud. Like, is he just excited you got your license and you're doing deals and
Yeah, his goal I'm the oldest of 3, but his goal for us is to like own like a building one day, which is
Very cool.
Is optimistic.
Yeah.
your brothers, sisters?
Yeah, so I'm the oldest of 3, and then my sister is the youngest. She's 17, and my brother is 19.
All right.
And is everybody on the same path, or like they're like, "Hey, Dad, leave me alone"?
Kinda like my dad and brother do trading,
Okay.
stocks and stuff, and then my sister's still figuring stuff out. She's still young.
17.
Yeah,
baby.
17.
I love how the 21-year-old like she's still young.
Yeah. Wait. So how old are you?
I'm 23.
You're 23.
All right.
Okay.
So you guys
okay,
are
yeah.
similar.
Yeah. 25.
Okay.
Yeah. I know. I look. Really
I mean,
old
same
and
thing though. Like you
horrible.
got right out of college and you're like, this is what I'm going to do. And
Yeah.
most
Where'd you
people
go?
don't do that.
I went to Penn State.
Okay.
Yeah. So, graduated with an accounting degree. No idea what I was going to do. And then Tom, the owner of our company, he's not here today, but he's who owns Marathon. He's my best friend's uncle. So he called me. He's like, "You want to try interning with us?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't even know what you guys do, but sure." And then I ended up never leaving. So been here for 4 years now.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah. So
Pretty wild. Yeah. I mean, I didn't get into this industry until I was almost 30, 32, something like that. Yeah,
he's very
32.
infatuated with us young people and how we
It's
get into
crazy.
it.
It's like, because
off
most
the rip.
people don't like,
Rory was
it's an ambitious
21.
industry to get into right off the bat, which maybe
tough.
lends itself
Yeah.
to being young and, you know,
And Rory was 21. He's like, "I'm going to San Diego with 3 people I don't know," and he lived
I
there
took a
for
different path, yeah.
11 years. You know, that's what he did. So
So what did you do before joining
Um,
the world?
So I'm basically in the restaurant industry for
Okay.
a long time, and then I was in sales for a couple of years prior to that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of like from the time I was 12, 13, 14 in the restaurant industry.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but I kind of relate that to customer service, being organized, you know, being efficient, stuff like that. I would never trade any of that. I wouldn't be the loan officer I am today without all of that experience doing that.
Right.
And then the last couple years prior to getting into this industry, I was in sales for like the Northern California market for a brewery. And then that's a whole other thing of you need to have the customer service and things like that, but like just how to build a pipeline and how to follow up with, you know, leads and stuff like that. So it's a lot of the similar stuff that we do in our industry.
Yeah.
And now we could just make more money doing it.
Yeah.
Less beer and kind of less beer.
No.
I kind of parlayed this.
we
podcast
integrated
from
the
our-
beer pretty well.
Yeah.
But no, it's funny that you brought up Robert Kawasaki or Kiyosaki. I don't know how you say his name actually, but I started a very similar way. Not my dad, but a guy I worked with. I was a lifeguard at a pool when I was 15, and he's like, "You should read this book." I was like, "Okay, fine. I'll try. Like, I'll read a book. Why not? I'll read a book, dude. I'm 15." So I read the book. It was Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then that like opened up my mind to the whole real estate world. And then that's when me and a good friend of mine who's also named Mike, his mom owns a brokerage, a real estate company. He got into real estate when he was 18 and started buying houses. I'm like, I want to do the same thing. And then, you know, now I've been doing this. I have 2 rental properties. And then
Awesome.
what were you saying before we started the podcast? That you have like a rehab or a flip or something? What's that all about?
Yeah, so I got my license, right? And then a couple months later, I was looking to buy. My credit score was good and not a lot of debt, but I didn't use my license. I actually ended up using another real estate agent to buy that
Really?
property. And I feel like I look back at it now, it's probably like one of like the biggest mistakes I
Yeah, I was
could
gonna say,
have
what
made.
was the reason? You just weren't confident in it, or how did it?
So I had my license because of a co-op, and they just did leasing.
Oh, okay.
And it was all remote. So I would only go like downtown to do showings for like big apartment buildings and not really learn the sales side of it.
Yeah.
So I ended up contacting like our family realtor, and he helped us with the process. But like I scheduled the tours. I saw.
You did most of it.
Yeah. So looking back at it, I think that was.
Well, at least you
My
used someone who you
regrets now.
knew and trusted. It wasn't some like you didn't call the listing agent. It was like, hey, will you do double side this?
Like
yeah.
I knew a little bit, but not too much to like do the paperwork
Yeah.
behind it and stuff.
Yeah. So you bought. How old were you when you bought that?
I was 21.
Okay, so you bought that like at 20. Wow. And is that full like rental now, or you flipped it, or what did you end up doing with it?
So yeah, it was a little old. So we ended up ripping some walls and tearing up some stuff.
Yep, yep.
And
when you say we, who's we?
my dad.
You and your dad.
Yeah.
Me and my dad.
Yeah.
And some obviously workers, because we don't really dabble in construction that
Yeah.
much.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we tore everything apart, and then it took about 4 or 5 months.
That's my next question. How long did it take? And
Yeah.
how long did you think it was going to take?
I thought it was gonna be like 2 months.
And ended
Being
up doubling.
optimistic.
That's what
a
always
great
happens.
first lesson for a first-time rehabber
Yeah.
or a flipper.
No, yeah, I learned a lot in that. Just not to get your emotions in with
Oh, yeah.
business.
Oh,
I
no,
think, like,
absolutely not.
You learn the same thing over there?
Yeah, sure, yeah. I guess the second house I bought, like, I bought it off of a flipper, and it's like everything, piece by piece. It's like,
start
hey, Mike, this is falling apart, or hey, Mike, yeah, I'm like, fuck. So then you gotta like, the electricians. I was talking to Courtney today. I have to write a check for this electrician because he just wrapped up a job. Like, it's just, yeah, I highly suggest if you're gonna buy a place, do it the way you did it. Like, buy it yourself and flip it yourself. I bought it, the second one, and they had already rehabbed it, and they had 2 tenants in there. And, lesson learned, just buy an empty house next time. Like, I'm not, buy an empty house, figure out what's wrong with it, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be split up, and then rent it out afterwards.
Do it right the first time.
Yeah, so, but hey, you live and you learn.
Yeah. So my goal was to, like, every year buy a property, but with COVID and then
It's tough.
school, I'm still at that one property. But yeah, a lot of lessons came from it.
You're still
one more
23,
property than I
though.
had when I was 23 years
You're
old.
23. You'll be fine. Yeah, you'll have like 4 in the next 3 years. I can guarantee it.
Hopefully.
So
So you
then
still
what-
have that one though?
Yeah.
And you
Still
rent
have
it?
it?
I rent it out. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
friendly.
And then what? So now you're on the Kind team, right?
Yeah.
That's the team. Okay. So you're with them. You've been with them for a couple months now. How has it been over there? Like, it seems like you've worked with a super cool team. I mean, we've had so many people on the podcast. Like, they're a ton of fun. They're great to be around. How's that been with like real estate?
I love it.
Yeah.
I started off with 3 boutique like agencies. So they were like either family owned or like very small.
Yeah, sure.
And like that jump to real brokerage was insane. Like, Matt is such a great team leader. I actually ended up meeting him as soon as I switched my license to another brokerage. And like, my gut was telling me like, switch, it doesn't matter if you were only there for a month, but I wanted to stick to that team for a year.
wow.
I didn't end up waiting the year.
I was going to say
I
that.
was gonna say, I was like, that's wild.
Yeah, like, I graduated, and then Matt like contacted me again, and I was like, you know what? I made up my mind. Like, I'm going over to your.
So you were hanging your license with brokerages while you were in college too.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing it while you're in college. Nice. So you did it. When did you started when you were 21? You go through college. When did you graduate college?
In June. Of
In
this
June,
year.
and then you made the jump after you graduated. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So, and they're a very knowledgeable team. So I'm sure you're doing well over there.
Yeah, anytime I ever see like a new agent, especially like a solo agent on like a boutique team, or like just people like that need support. They need, education. They need other people around them to learn stuff. Like, just think about you being in the office and how much you learned just from being here and working with other people. If you tried to go out and do this on your own, you just can't learn that much that quickly like you can on a team that really cultivates and supports that.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah. And then you said you're coming from the Ambler office today.
Yeah.
Is the Doylestown one the new one?
Yeah.
Doylestown, the new one. Yeah.
The new one. Yeah.
But you're closer to Ambler though.
Yeah,
from
I'm,
where you live.
I'm
yeah.
like 40 minutes away from Doylestown.
Ah, okay.
Everything's 40. That's where I live. Everything's 40 minutes from Doylestown.
Doylestown. It's a great town.
Yes, it's really nice now with like the Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
It's so nice, but so far from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it up there. But I mean, it's like 40 minutes to here to this office as well. But it's like nice quiet time. It's a good time for me to like make calls and zone into getting out of the family life and the home life. And so I don't mind the commute. But yeah, it's a hike up there.
I like it up there.
And it's a
I
smaller
think I
office
would-
too. So
Yeah, but
Physically
everyone
smaller.
knows each other, and like everyone's so friendly there.
Yeah.
People just stop by, look at our office, and then they come inside and just
Especially-
have a conversation.
especially with the office being new, and that I don't know how much you know about that building, but like Makers off Main is like kind of what that used to be, and it's been vacant for years. But it was a kind of like a big part of the community, like a little craft artisan. I think they did crafts there, but they also displayed them there. So like it's got like a cool part of it, like a cool history in the community. So
I don't know.
yeah, when he took that over, that's why I think he's got a lot of the art on the walls, and they do like
Okay.
curations and stuff. Like he wants to kind of keep that going.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Doylestown nerd there, baby.
I know.
It's nice.
I'm a
That
big advocate for Doylestown. If you
You
can
are.
make the 40-minute commute.
Yeah, you're the second biggest advocate I know behind Dion.
Dion. Oh, and
yeah,
Patrick.
Dion.
Oh, and
Dion
Patrick.
Pat love
Yeah.
Yellowstone, yeah.
Third biggest advocate I know. So yeah, what's my like kind of the next question I want to ask you? What's the future hold for you? Like, what are you trying to do? You have any goals for? We're in December now. You know, we're a month away from the new year. Anything like you want to achieve in real estate? Do you have a set number of transactions you want to hit, or is it just like, hey, I want to go out there and have fun? You know,
Get another property.
yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I'm planning out like my 2025 business related stuff today, actually.
Oh wow.
I do have a number in mind, but I'm gonna meet with Matt first
All
and
right,
see.
cool. Is this possible,
Yeah.
Matt? 2,000 transactions. this year.
But I think there's so much uncertainty to 2025 too, just in our industry in general, where rates are going to be, what's the inventory going to be like?
No one ever knows.
No one knows. Yeah.
Like but honestly, we're still like staying busy. Like I think in the last month, I've gotten more clients interested in like the home buying process than in previous months. And honestly, I think it's due to like my social media.
That was the next thing I was going to ask you.
So I have a pipeline now. Like I didn't have that before joining the team. So I'm really excited about that.
And it's such a roller coaster, this industry. It's like you got to be excited about, hey, these people aren't buying houses yet, but all of a sudden have this pipeline that I didn't have before, which is like, it's hard to get excited about. It's not money in your pocket yet, right? It's like a good month when you get money in your pocket. That's easy to get excited about. But like just doing the right things, taking it step by step, building your pipeline, getting out there, being consistent with social media. It's all going to pay off eventually. But yeah, it's such a roller coaster.
It sucks.
I don't think a lot of people realize how hard it is to actually get into like real estate, whether you're an agent or just a lender.
Yeah, no, it's brutal. It's like a really tough industry. I mean,
You can get into it. It's easy to get into.
Yeah, it's very easy to get
your
into.
license. I won't say it's easy to get your license, but you can get your license and you can get into it.
No, it's pretty easy to get your license, dude. It's just brutal. Like if you if you're like trying to actually pursue real estate as a career, and this is what you want to do, it's the 90-10 rule. Like 10% of the entire business makes 90% of all the money in it. So like if you're doing this every day, it's all about attrition. It's like the attrition rate in real estate and being a lender, like you're just trying to outlast everybody else because, after 3 or 4 years of doing it, people are going to start falling off. So it's like, all right, I got to keep doing this and keep doing this and keep doing this. And that's like this year, I've said this a million times on the podcast, this year specifically, like made me realize, okay, I can do this. Like I've grown, I've nearly doubled my production. I beat Rory last month and Tom. So like it's just a positive sign that like, all right, all the consistency and hard work is actually paying off. It took 3 years to see it because the market was so shitty and you're growing in like a really bad market and you have double the lenders, but people start falling off and you just keep doing what you're doing. And, and also being a good lender, like being good at what you do and having good supporting people. Like if it wasn't for Rory and Tom, I would have never beat them. Like there would have been no
Calm down, buddy. It's been 1 month.
Yeah. And Tom had a really bad month, so I pulled it out. But it just, it's a really hard business to be in for sure. I don't think like you said, I don't think many people realize
Yeah,
it.
you have to have thick skin.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Especially like, I mean, being a lender, we've talked about this before. Being a lender is different because you'll call us and be like, hey, I have this client I want you to talk to. We'll talk to them over the phone. We take their application on the phone. We barely see them. We might see them at closing. Like that's when we see them. You might show somebody 20 houses and then they're like, hey, we want to stop shopping, or hey, we're going to go talk to this other realtor. And you're like, what did I do?
Yeah.
It's brutal. Like I can't even imagine. How's that been for you? Like
I've had a couple of those.
Yeah.
Where it's, we've go see a ton of houses and then it's like, I don't think the market's right for us right now. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Shoot.
You just broke up with me.
yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, it kind of goes back to what you're saying. Like it didn't put money in your pocket this month, but like it will, especially I assume you work with a lot of young people, just like kind of we do. It's like, they're going to buy their first house eventually. And then they're going to buy a second one. And then they're going to refer all their other friends who are buying houses, their first houses. So it's just like building your pipeline and doing what you got to do. And then like basically surviving while you wait for the other foot to drop. And that's what Mike's, he's been waiting and waiting and waiting. And, this year's been finally up for him. So
Yeah, definitely. Now, how is it cause where are you from originally?
Ecuador.
So you speak like Spanish and everything?
Yeah.
So do you like lean into that market as well?
Yeah.
Is that like a niche for you?
For sure, yeah. So the last brokerage I was at, it was like like Hispanic boutique agency. So the owner was Colombian, and the reason why I left, it's not that it was a bad team or anything, but someone would come in the door and say, hey, I need someone who speaks Spanish, and all the hands would go up.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
So it's like, I can't set myself apart from these people if we're all doing the same thing.
That totally makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, you would think almost like, oh, this would be a good place for me to be.
Right. So that's where my head was at first. Yeah. And then I was talking to Matt, like the first meeting we had was over Zoom. He was like kind of teaching me what he did and like what Real was, because I had no idea what Real Brokerage was. And I told him, like, yeah, I speak Spanish too. And he's like, we need someone who speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I don't think Dion speaks Spanish.
No.
Can you imagine that voice in Spanish?
Yeah, Dion speaking Spanish would be awesome.
Sorry, Dion.
No, but like you see, I noticed how in one place it was like oversaturated, and Matt was like, we need someone that speaks Spanish. So
that's awesome. So now only one hand's going up in that office.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes so much sense. I never thought about that way, because everybody calls us and they're like, we need somebody to speak Spanish. And we're like, yeah, like I never would have thought there would be a place that so many people raise their hands that you have to like almost leave that place to go somewhere else to be more. That's just so funny, but it makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. So that's good. That's like, I feel like a niche only certain people have, and that's a market you could definitely corner in your office. Like, that's like your thing now. Anybody that speaks Spanish comes directly to you, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So, and it like, it's serving my community, like I saw how tough it was for my dad to like buy his first properties and stuff. And like, sometimes the language barrier can be hard for like people that are older. So I really love that I'm able to give back now. Even though I'm still learning, but
Yeah, I mean, it's confusing when English is your first language. Like just the process, understanding the verbiage, and just feeling like you can trust somebody to tell you what's the truth. So I can't imagine if English is your second language, or you just have to find someone you can really trust, and then having it in your primary language has got to be helpful, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's confusing enough as it is.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if there. Do you got anything else you want to touch on?
I do. Social media, obviously.
Right.
This is somewhere where like you guys excel, and I'm like trying to get better at it. It's just we didn't grow, like my generation. I'm 40, didn't grow up as much.
You're doing great. You should make more of the videos you made today. You should make more of those videos.
Well, you should eclipse me every more months, and then maybe I will.
I'm trying, dude.
All right, eclipse was a strong word.
I was gonna say
you beat me by one loaf.
It's a big word for me, dude. Cool it down a little bit.
But what I mean, it's something that you guys have. Even like a lot of people who have come on who are younger, like, oh, like I don't have this experience, like. But you guys have this benefit of, I grew up with social media. I know how to manipulate it and use it and stay in the algorithms. And how is that kind of, I mean, because you're using it to your advantage.
Yeah.
Has that always just been something that you were used to using in your personal life, and then you just translate? Like, how did you, because all your videos look good. They all have good information. It's like quick cuts, like the captions, they all look good.
Yeah, thank you. So during COVID, or right before COVID, I was like, against TikTok. Like, no, I'm not downloading it. Like, people are just sucked right into it. I saw my sister like doing her little dance videos.
Oh yeah.
And then once COVID hit, I was like, I'm bored. Let me see what's on TikTok. So I downloaded TikTok and I started doing the dancing videos with my sister, and we got a lot of following. Like right now I have like 12,000 followers on TikTok and my sister has like 20 because she kept on doing it.
Yeah, so funny.
But yeah, I was like, okay, enough with the dancing. Like I'm going into real estate now. How can I transition that into something more professional but still entertaining?
Yeah.
And before I put everything on one account, I had my personal account and my real estate account, and I did a couple, like some videos did numbers on my real estate account, but I wanted people to see like me as an agent but also me as a person, like family, stuff outside of real estate.
Yeah.
So I just combined both, and now I'm trying to like find that rhythm again. Like, how can I entertain people while also teaching them stuff and not just blab my mouth?
Why we started this, right?
Yeah.
Because we want people to know us as people. Like, there's a million loan officers out there. There's a million realtors out there. Like, how are you going to be different? And like, do you need someone who speaks Spanish? Boom, you're different. Do you need someone who you followed on Instagram and you know, like, they're a real person, right? They have family, and they're close with their parents, and you need to have something that's going to make you a real human and like personalize you.
Yeah,
I want to be connected with you.
Yeah, and I noticed too, like we post a lot of stuff from the podcast, and some of it does really well and some of it does bad, but the stuff that I get the most interaction with is when I post just like about my life. You know what I mean? Like I just post photos or something like that gets the most traction compared to, I don't know, us posting like 4 reels in a row of the podcast or whatever it is. Like, you know, some clips do well and get thousands of views, or when I switch it up and I make like a funny video, like me and Ronan made that video. I don't know if you ever heard of Ronan Higgins. He's like a local realtor here, but we just made a video for like an open house thing. It's just like a comedy skit video. It did really well. So, you know, I think switching it up and showing like you're a person helps a lot.
And I always notice that the videos that I like don't try as hard to like with producing and like editing, they always are the ones that do the numbers.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely like a catch-22 because the ones that are produced and look good, you're like, oh, that looks really good. But then the ones that are not, you're like, oh, but she's also a real person. You know, like, yeah, and you didn't put the effort into it, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're like, oh, all right, that resonated with people more. You know?
And honestly, Matt's the one who like pushed me to like start posting more videos, and I have like this portable light that I just like clip onto my phone, and I turn all the lights off in like one of the offices we have in Ambler, and it's just me and my light, and like that's why I get like such great lighting. So now I like stop by and it's Andrea or Matt making a video and like all the lights are off.
That's so funny.
So like I kind of started a trend.
Andrea's been posting a lot more recently too, I noticed. Yep. And similar like style videos to like what you were saying. So
it's honestly,
she bit off you. Come on, Andrea.
She'll never see this part of the podcast anymore.
Oh, I'm gonna send it to her.
All right. Fair enough. But yeah, no, I don't. Is there anything?
Is that where you get a lot of your leads, or like are you seeing like are there like real world like results to that, or is it kind of anecdotal? Because I feel like a lot of ours is anecdotal and just getting our name out there and like feeling like we're busier.
Yeah, no, for sure. I know a lot of people.
Yeah, you can.
You sure?
Yeah. What do you got?
I got like another 30.
All right. So the question was, like from doing the TikToks and the Instagrams and the videos, are you seeing like real world results from that, or things that you can like quantify, or is it more like we feel a lot of it is like anecdotal and we feel busier, but we don't really know exactly where it's from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it is bringing me business. Like a lot of people who I went to high school with, like they're getting married or starting to have kids and stuff like that. So they'll DM me and say, hey, we're interested in buying a house. And it's usually not right then and there. It's 6 to 12 months down the line, but definitely have been getting more DMs and people referring me to their family members, because I've been posting like 5 times a week.
Yeah.
And like just
and if you're getting the DMs on the same platform, you're like, oh, it must, like they obviously saw me on this. So that's real world evidence that this is working.
Yeah. And a lot of people repost my stuff. Just helps me get out there. So I've gotten a lot of followers this month, just off of social media.
It's very cool.
It's like
30 people, I think. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's like, I can't believe it's still free. You know, like it's like the most, it just gets your name out there the most efficiently with the least amount of cost. And I just can't believe that it's like people pay thousands of dollars to, you know, lead generating software and, you know, marketing stuff with other teams. It's like, and none of it works as good as social media.
Yeah, but I feel like the toughest part to understand is that you have to stay consistent. Like, and social media is very hard. Like, I'm pretty sure even the podcast is like, shoot, like, who do we have next? Or topics and stuff.
We're lucky because like last week it was Thanksgiving, so it was harder to get a guest in, and we had one lined up, but we had to wait on it for whatever reason. And we're like, but me and him can just do it ourselves. You know, we don't always have a guest. In fact, we started this for the first 30 episodes probably, right, without a guest. And then I was telling you, like, it's kind of evolved into what it is today. But we have to always have the backdrop of like, hey, if you didn't show up today and we needed one for Friday, like me and him could jump on and talk about stuff that's going on in the mortgage world. It's not as exciting, but we can at least be consistent and post a clip and you know, just keep that streak going. Because we haven't missed 1 week since we started.
No. Yeah, no. And we're probably, we have to be close to 100, if not over 100 episodes.
Gotta be, yeah.
That's awesome.
Because I think we started in February of 23.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about
beginning of March of 23. Yeah.
Yeah, so 20 months. So whatever that is times
4.
Yeah.
On average. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's been fun. It's been good. Good bonding experience with Rory.
He's learned a lot.
Yes, I have.
No, but I think that was it. I mean, obviously keep going on the social media. It's cool to watch, and it's cool to see all the consistency. And I love that you're on that team now. Like, they're just so supportive, it seems like, and especially for someone who's kind of growing in the industry and learning. And Matt's a great mentor. Sounds like there's other people in that office, the Ambler office specifically, that are great mentors as well. So
yeah, and it's only going to keep on growing.
That's
right.
Awesome.
Very cool. Anything else you want to add?
No.
Anything you want to add?
I'm okay. Thank you guys so much for having
No,
me.
thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being prompt and on time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah,
your
it's all
lunch.
good. It's okay. I'll go eat
I'll
that
treat
later.
Chipotle next
I
time.
warned him. I said she's gonna be. He's like, no.
I was like, nah, bro, trust. Well, I thought you meant like 12 to 1. Like, that's the window she's showing up in. And you're like, she's 5 minutes away. I'm like, no, she's not. And then I didn't know you texted him. I was eating my food and I saw you at the door. I was like, oh shit, she is 5 minutes away. But
That'll serve
thank
you well in the industry is being like communicate. Like, so many realtors are so bad at communication and showing up on time.
What,
and,
realtors? No, dude.
One time I was doing showings and the people that were scheduled after me came and I basically did the showing because the real estate agent that they were working with was like 15 minutes late. So yeah,
Did you get them? Did you keep them?
No.
Nah.
Should have snagged them.
That was nice. That was very
That
nice.
was a
of you,
nice
though.
thing to do. But that's good karma.
That'll be
come
paid back
to
to you. Yes. Yeah. Very true.
All right.
Yeah. Cool.
Happy Friday. Thanks
Friday.
for coming.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
American hangman, sketched in crayon, gangland on the facade that you can spray